ASAP from the net. We are back, baby. Oh, man, and today, our special guest, interviewee, we're bringing on sneaker culture's inventor and founder, Devin Faulkner. How we doing, brother?
Good, how are you guys?
We got a little audience, too. Logan sitting in on this. Fuck yeah. I'm glad to have you here, brother. And then, well, Devin, holy shit, man. You're really taking off with this sneaker culture thing,
bro.
man. I mean, it fascinates my mind. How the hell did you come up with this shit, really?
I'd probably say, like 7 years ago. Probably SneakerCon. That was my first.
Okay,
that was that inspiration. I went to SneakerCon Chicago.
Hell yeah.
And then ever since I went in there, to be honest, I was like, right when you like walk in, it's like all the music and shit. And I was like, damn, I want to do this one day. I want to like have my own. Yeah,
have, like,
it was
your
cool.
own event kind of like that.
Yeah, I was like 13 probably when I saw that though. It's been a minute. Like I've always thought about it and I never got around to it.
Okay.
So for like the people that maybe don't know, tell us just like what sneaker culture is.
It's pretty much like you have like the shoes that you go in store, right, and you get that aren't like sold out, and then sneaker culture is like that like group of people that are like chasing that next like that Jordan that's sold out over the years, or like that LeBron, or you know what I mean, like
just chasing the rarest
all the like limited shoes that they like don't make a lot of, so then that makes like the demand go up and people are doing anything, paying these crazy prices to get the shoe that they want.
So like
I'd
say growing up for us, because like we're all right around the same age. Growing up, I remember shoes, even for me, were real big at one time.
Yeah.
So like, when was like the first time you remember really getting into them?
I'd probably say like 7th grade, 8th grade. That's probably.
That's when
that's
it really
why I said
took
I
off.
was
that's
like middle school.
I always like got interested in it. I never like had the money, and then I'd probably say I like really started buying them around like 8th grade, freshman year.
Yeah.
That's probably like when I really started actually putting the money out that I wanted them.
It used to be different too, like just the process.
It used to be all like
you know?
Jordans. Like
Yeah, you used to have
Yeezys.
like
Jordan was huge.
Wasn't it always just a it was like a raffle you legit would go get.
Yeah,
And
raffle
now
ticket.
It's a little different
They
now,
they
isn't
still
it?
do the raffle tickets.
Okay.
But the process is definitely different with some shoes. A lot of them are like online too. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
online
my
drops.
mom got me some great vibes for, I think it was like my 15th birthday. She got it from a raffle too. So that's, I mean, she said that she sat in that line for like 2-3
that was all before like
hours.
StockX too. So like back then everyone had to know like their prices of shoes. Like you had that like.
You had to know them. That's what I used to tell them. Right?
That's what was like real big back then. People probably made more money back then, honestly, because I mean some people might not know what that shoes. But now people pull up StockX like, ooh, look at this price. Like
I remember
you have to
too,
match
like,
that. I'm like, I mean, you could get that.
It seemed like
Wait 2
everybody
weeks.
knew when the releases were coming out.
Yeah, because there was just like a very limited. Now it's like kind of not oversaturated, but in a sense it kind of is. Sometimes.
So do you think like these different sites like Depop and the site that you just mentioned, does it definitely like benefit the sneaker culture in a sense, or do you think?
Yeah, it makes it safer. I'd probably say safer for like, like just buying like fake stuff, like unauthentic stuff, meeting people. You could like order it online and then it'll be shipped to you in like a week or two.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like
Facebook Marketplace is even like a huge.
Yeah,
thing.
it's just like when you do like those. StockX has like an authentication like checkpoint. So like you send your and they only accept brand new shoes. So you send your shoe there, and then they'll check. Like to see if it's authentic, if it's brand new, and then they'll run it through if it's good, it passes. That person gets their money. You get your shoe within the next week or two.
Yeah,
because
they put like a little like a verification tag on it.
I would hear about people getting scammed all the time too back in the day. Like I would hear left and right. Friends of mine
at events, it was real bad back in the day. It was really, it was just because some people didn't know like. Have that sense of knowledge that they have now.
Plus, I know a lot of fights would always break out, like when you would still have to go get in line. I remember, like
that's why they started that raffle ticket.
Yeah,
because people started getting like, well, they used to do first come first serve, and people used to like line up at the door.
People out though, like after they did come and wait, and then get jumped maybe by somebody.
Yeah, they'll walk out your store with your shoes and like mess around and get jumped for real, like steal your shoes and everything.
It's like getting a lottery ticket whenever.
It literally just like that. Yeah.
I haven't even seen that movie. I want to go see that.
You haven't seen Lottery Ticket?
Who's in Lottery Ticket?
That's Bow Wow. T-Pain's the guy who sells them the lottery ticket at the gas station.
That's a great little cameo for T-Pain. I like that. Well, I know you. I mean, back in the day when we knew you in middle school, I know that you were like a big in like photography. Like you were real big into like sneaker of the day and all that. Do you have like a particular shoe that you consider like your prized possessions?
As like in my personal collection.
Yeah.
Maybe the rarest.
Yeah.
I used to, but I mean, I do have my like for example, Mark Battle signed his like shoes that he live performed at my last event. I mean, those are to me like since I like did it all, that's like a prized possession
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
like a trophy.
But like I used to have a lot of like
Shout out
older
Mark
shoes.
Battles.
Yeah, shout out Mark Battles for sure.
For sure, and you repping.
Yep.
And speaking of Mark Battles, how did this relationship come about between you two?
I actually shot a concert. It was October 2017. I shot a concert for him and shot him the pictures.
Did you just do that Old National?
It was.
Have you shot more than one of his?
I shot 2
Okay, yeah,
concerts.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I mean it was more of just like. That's just like the power of social media. People say it's so bad sometimes, but like
No, I feel
if
like
you use
You're
it,
looking for people to come take.
if you use it in the right way, you could definitely like. Hell, I wouldn't been able to like do what I'm doing now if it wasn't for social media. Like all my first
No.
2 events and then up and coming. Like I finally did all 3 platforms. My first 2 was just Instagram.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
That's
like-
kind of how like I've
We-
made connections like in the basketball industry,
Yeah.
like working with coaching and stuff from social media. Like I'm a part of a coaching organization that I wouldn't have even known about if it
Yeah,
wasn't.
it's just
for
so
that.
accessible. It's right on your
Right.
phone. You can look up anybody.
So
We
it's like-
talked about on our last episode even like how an organic relationship, like talking in person like this, is better, but the power of social media, DMing, you can start the basis of a relationship.
That's literally
It
how it
allows you-
happened.
it
I
allows
just
you to, like,
edited the
celebrate.
pictures, shot it to him, and he was like right on. Type. We just chopped it up a little bit, and
So social media, is that how you get a hold of like most of the artists that do
Yeah,
perform at your
pretty
sneaker
much
cultures?
everybody really.
And we kind of
That's-
talked about that on our last pod about having like always being like having our phones near is just for like making connections with the pod. Like we feel like always we're trying to connect to other people that are trying to help.
I
us
mean,
with that.
people like those connections help too. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like you build off their audience, they build off of yours,
Yep,
For
exactly.
sure.
and
yeah,
it kind of
exactly.
just gives them that like that extra piece of content they go like look at and be like, oh, that's dope. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So like getting into the event then, like people that are going to be there, people that may not know about it yet, like what should people expect to see there?
Like when they walk in the doors.
Yeah.
A lot of tables with a lot of pretty much a sneaker event. Like vendors from like Indianapolis or the Midwest, they'll like come and set up their like own personal like shop like collections. They'll purchase a booth from me and then they'll come set up their shop, and then I'll have a stage. I'll have live performances. I'll have live music the whole time. I mean, shoes. A lot of people.
Just everybody
Clothes,
talking to each
accessories,
other,
yeah, everyone talking to each other, just trying to get their buck for the day, pretty much, because they kind of just go there to make wheel and deal all day.
Yeah, I feel that. Like our people basically, it's just negotiating the entire time.
Yeah,
back
pretty
and
much. You
forth.
just like walk around tables and be like, "Hey, what size is that?" Some people have like little pieces of paper that have like their size, their price,
What's
and like
the
condition
rarest shoe you've ever seen at one of these sneaker events that you've hosted?
that I've hosted.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a huge, maybe something
Probably
that went
the-
for a lot of money.
Probably that I've hosted. Probably the Max. That's probably the biggest.
Okay.
The Air Mags?
Yeah,
came
the
through?
Nike Air
Was it
Mags.
the auto one?
Nah, those are crazy expensive. But these are just like they did like a live auction in like 2011,
Okay.
and they only like don't mark me for this like 1,200 or
Yeah, I
1,500
remember it
Yeah,
was
that's
somewhere
still-
around there.
Because that's
And
when I
then
was big into sneakers. Like you said, like early
Yeah,
on
yeah.
in middle school, that's when.
yeah, did you guys ever get into that? You
I
guys
was in
did
it.
a little
Like
bit.
I bought them always through probably 6th grade up till sophomore year. I just kind of started wearing Vans and stuff like that more. But
It's kind of
like back when I would hoop all the time in middle school, like me and all the homies, like we would literally be like quizzing each other on like
On,
I
like,
forget
the-
what apps they used to have that showed the release dates, but like
probably.
we'd show the picture, like even the date, and we'd be like, hey, which one's dropping this date?
They
And
have-
we would know like.
They
what
still
it
have
was
those
gonna
apps,
be,
too.
like-
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
had those apps. What were those apps? There was a few.
Like
I forget
sneakers.
what they were, bro. There was a lot of good ones. Yeah.
Trying to think of other ones.
There were like a lot of like
Oh,
Kicks
dude,
on
I remember I
Fire.
used-
Kicks on
was that
Fire.
app?
Yeah, Kicks on Fire.
That's
That's
Nice
what
right.
kicks.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot
Flight
of them.
Club was even an app.
Yeah.
There was
Flight
some other
Club,
crazy
yeah.
ones. But yeah,
I got big into it because some friends that I like went to high school with and grew up with, like they were really into it. Like they were known like at our school. My buddy Caleb, he for just having like he would get every they would get every shoe that would come out pretty much. Like that he like had the most sneaker games, so like I would always know just from the stuff that he was.
See, it's just like stuff you enjoy, and like there's money in it too. So
It's
like,
really a slept-on business.
It
It,
is.
That's
really-
what I like to see in a way.
it's huge. Like there's literally my bad.
No, you're good.
My
But-
phone went off to start this podcast. Like,
Hey, shit always happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No matter.
sneaker business is definitely slept on. Some people don't. They just think shoes, and I mean, there's definitely a lot more behind that.
For sure, yeah. Like
Like-
even I know I've ran into a few people even going to college, like going to different colleges. Like I'll run into certain people that I've seen that have been flipping sneakers, or like they might have their own page for me.
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
like how you.
All you gotta do is start an Instagram. I started a
Exactly.
sneaker culture page a year ago.
And it's blown up, man. How many
Yeah.
followers do you have on that now?
Like 1,000.
I mean,
I mean,
shit, that's damn
And
good
this is
for
the
a
third.
year.
This is the third
This is
event
the
now.
third,
within a
yeah.
year.
It's a
That's
whole
solid
third
new
than a
right
year.
there.
Golden
Yep.
decade, my man.
It's definitely crazy power of social media though. It's,
Oh, for sure.
It's
You
kinda
have
wild.
To get your point across on social media.
You
That's how you're
network.
gonna gain- Yeah, exactly.
And-
Networking,
It's fun to, like-
making connections.
Too, like just going through everyday life, I feel like it's nice to just have something to look forward to doing, like something that kind of keeps you motivated.
I probably
keeps you
annoy
going.
people with all the promotion that I do,
Exactly.
but
That's
I
how we
mean that's
do.
every day.
It's-
Every day I
it's
wake
all about
up and like
consistency, man. That's
every
what
day
it's
I
all
wake
about.
up and like,
Exactly.
oh, what do I gotta do to
Because
do
people
this?
continue to see that, and they're like, then they run into you, and they're like, "Hey, what's up with this?"
Yeah,
Or
and that's like
something like
it's
that.
like the best feeling when someone comes back, hey, I see what you're doing, like that's cool, and you're like,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you like, if you don't hang out with like too many people, you got your
Yeah,
circle
yeah.
small, like you don't know other people's opinions, you don't
Mhm.
like I'm trying to, you don't interact with them like on
Yeah,
a day-to-day
that.
basis, so you don't know their like thought process on you type.
Yeah.
And when they come up and say stuff like that, you're like, oh, all right, like,
Exactly.
It
Like,
gives you a sense
Hell
of like,
yeah.
gratitude.
Yeah.
So you're like, damn, I actually.
and it makes
doing
it
something.
makes
Yeah.
it worth it a little bit, and that just stamina never keeps you going. Honestly,
exactly, 100%.
It's
I
just
feel
those-
like back like in like when I was like in middle school and going through that, I feel like shoe stuff was like big, getting real big at that time. Do you feel like it's kind of like dropped off like a little bit, or is it still the same like that?
I'd probably say it's still huge, but
So-
it really shifted when like Yeezy, like whenever Yeezy, like Kanye West went to Adidas, I'd say that's probably when like everything went more like hype. I'd
Mhm.
say like
Mhm.
a lot of back then was like wear what you like all Jordans, all Nike,
I feel
like
that, yeah.
like that's all it was, like all Nike basketball, Jordans, and all that. But I'd say, I don't know, after the Yeezy 2, whenever he did the Turtle Dove with the Adidas, that's when it like shifted to like all like hype stuff. And
For sure.
But it's still not hard to get like people interested. Like they're still
no, like
good.
he's made it to the point where literally anyone could get Yeezys at this point. Like you could
Yeah.
go to
He's
this.
a great businessman.
Yeah,
honestly.
you could-
He knows what he's doing.
He does. He definitely does. I don't want to say he took over because Jordan and Nike will
Yeah.
always be the best brand in my opinion. But
Mhm.
I mean, he's definitely shifted it and made it something. Same thing with like Virgil and Off-White. They're doing that too.
Exactly.
yeah,
I know they have a lot of the Virgil
Shout
collabs
out
with a lot
That
of the Nikes.
yeah,
right?
they're kind of like he's kind of bringing like Nike being Nike being cool back. I'd say like you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Like it was so hyped on Adidas for a while, and then once he started doing Off-White stuff,
That's something
Jordan
too,
and
like-
Nike
I mean, the Nike brand has always been powerful for us.
I'd say Nike
since the '80s,
yeah.
obviously. But I mean, with the Off-White collab, that really just
They
boosted
stepped
their
it up
stock,
after the
definitely.
Adidas.
It's been coming back.
Yeah.
Like that's something else I would get into too. Like, are you into fashion that way? Like clothing, even in that
Yeah,
sense?
I would have started. Like I've been making like my own clothes and stuff, so I want to start definitely selling it and maybe start like a different brand. That's not
Okay,
just.
So, what brands do you like look as like inspiration for maybe potentially creating just a vintage shop or like just a clothing shop in general?
Probably, I'd say the hype brands are like Antisocial, Social Club, Supreme,
Yeah.
Bape, all like the high fashion
Mhm.
too, Gucci, Prada,
Mhm.
yeah, all
So
that
I've seen a
stuff.
bunch of these
FTP.
different fashion brands are like starting to implement themselves in the sneaker culture, definitely. Because
It's
Dior, didn't they
huge.
do a collab with Nike too? Because I thought Travis was rocking a pair of those, and I think he
Yeah,
posted
yeah.
on his Instagram about it. So I think they're doing a little collab.
I've noticed this too. Like, I was watching an interview. I forget who it was with. They said something about like possibly like streetwear, because I'm a huge fan of streetwear too. Like other streetwear brands, Half Evil, certain things like that. And they said, I was watching an interview and someone was kind of trying to explain like a possible downfall of that, like over the next year. And I was saying like it's more so like how you were saying, like you have an event that kind of goes along with your clothing, you know. Like I feel like it's better when there's not just a clothing aspect,
There's a
you know, you
purpose
have
behind
something
it.
else to offer with it.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like
I feel like those are the ones that are going to continue to like prosper.
I agree. That's I mean, when you get like a push behind it, it kind of people. I mean, if people are like fans of going to my event, like they kind of want that like piece of clothing or whatever in front of them that says it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or
It's just
something.
nice to have, too,
Yeah,
when
something
you
of
get
that sense.
You made that jacket?
Yeah, they get them at.
When did you start making your own like clothing brand?
I'd probably say not really too long ago, within the year.
I saw the
started.
hoodies with the SC on it, like on the pocket right here. I
Yeah, I
like
just
those
did that
ones.
one last
like
night.
The yellow one or something.
Yeah, the yellow and black one.
That was cool. Yeah.
So, I mean, are you a big sports guy, like outside of sneakers? Are you a big sports guy? Do you have any like preferred like sports teams that you like?
I'm not a big sports guy, but I'd say I like the Cubs and I'd say the Colts. Just close to home.
Hometown team.
See, I went the other way. I'm a Reds fan.
Really?
And I'm the other way. I'm a Cardinals fan. So we got a little
Reds.
Who do you got?
Reds.
You guys say
trash.
you're gonna be
He's
good
closer
every year.
down there.
They're trash, but
They are fucking trash.
I mean, all Reds fans always say there's always next year. No, you guys suck every year. Let's be honest. I mean, it's either going to be a fourth or third place finish.
Hell, the Cubs won
Man, they're
101 years or something.
Yeah,
Something
you guys
like
had
that.
A fucking drought.
That
was horrible.
Ever since the
Without
big
a World
machine
Series.
hasn't gone too well, huh?
I went to Wrigley though. It's nice as fuck.
Really,
What do you
I've
think?
actually never been.
It's awesome, bro. It's like it's like smack dab. You're just really in like a neighborhood too, so it's like out of nowhere.
Is it offset of Chicago? Like,
Yeah,
a little
for sure.
To the suburbs a little bit.
We rode the subway from the inner city, like right to there, and yeah, it was a little bit of a ride still, so it was nice.
I mean, shit, me and Dingus went on a Chicago trip when we were like 4 or 5. Took a little train down to Chicago. It broke down
I've
on
taken
a
a train
fucking
from here
way.
to Chicago.
Oh my god, that was a fucking
It's a little wobbly, like.
Yeah, I mean it's cool going on the train though because you get this. I don't know. It's just different when you're on railroad tracks. It seems like I don't know. It's just different. You see a whole lot more. I think.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Like it always passes by like the weird ass areas you're never gonna normally drive by.
I mean, obviously, growing up, you played baseball. Was there any like particular player that you tried to replicate your game after, or that you looked up to?
I'd probably say, might sound cliche, but Derek Jeter. That's
Hell yeah,
probably because
He was
shortstop.
a prime time for us,
Yeah,
too,
that's
you know,
what.
like,
And I did shortstop too. Shortstop, pitcher, outfield. So
He's like the
I was-
perfect role model in baseball, honestly. Like
I
he's
remember
never
you
really
always had
gotten
the
in
arm.
trouble
Right.
with the media. Like he's just an all-around. Seems like a really good dude.
they made sneakers after him actually, like collaboration.
He
Yeah, I
collabed
saw
with
it.
Jordan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
hard. When did he?
They got a
partner up
Jordan
with
one.
Jordan?
I'm not sure the
It was
exact
like
date.
early. I thought it was early on in his
It's
career.
probably been a minute.
I liked when Jordan. Yeah, like there's a lot of other people who sponsor Jordan in baseball, like Yachty.
Yachty's
sponsors
with Jordan. Yeah.
Even he's Golden Glove catcher.
Yachty's still kicking it, man. I'm surprised. He's been after it for at least a solid 14, 15 years. This man's been behind the plate. I'm surprised his knees aren't shot by now.
It's a little.
It's hard work back there.
he didn't want the smoke with Brandon Phillips though.
Yeah, who
BP
won the game? Who probably
VP's
won the
my
It
game?
don't matter.
Hey, VP's my boy. So you don't fuck with
No,
VP. He's
no.
from Atlanta, so.
I mean, he's a
Don't
good
step
player.
up,
It's just
bro.
the Reds really never did anything when he was there. I mean, they did win one NL Central title, though, I remember. But that's really, I think they only won one with them because the Cards and the Cubs were always, or the Pirates. That division's always really
That's the best
competitive.
division of baseball.
It's so appealing to watch because you truly never know who's going to win it each year. You never know. I mean, it could be really the Reds have never really been discussed.
They haven't been a contender in a while.
It's
getting
not going too high.
Do you like basketball any? I mean,
Yeah,
shoes being.
For sure. Yeah, I watch basketball.
Yeah, you
So, what player do you feel like has the best sneakers in your opinion?
Jordan.
Well, other than okay, other
Michael
than
Jordan.
outside of Jordan, who has the best in your?
Are you talking about brands or
Yeah.
like?
just
Or like a
brands
player's
just-
shoe.
Yeah, a
player's
player's
shoe.
shoe.
It's
is
got
really
their
what I
own
meant.
shoe.
Yeah.
I'd probably say LeBron's, but I don't like I like the LeBrons like when we were in
Yeah.
Like the nines,
Yeah,
and
like
the sevens were hard.
Up to
through
the 10,
up to like
maybe?
the 10, yeah, up to the 10. I don't really like the 11s. I like the 11, but that was my last LeBron.
Yeah, I
after
saw
that.
he did a
I always
little-
like.
I was up till the
Kobe's.
10s,
I always
too.
like
Crazy.
Kobe's
Probably,
better.
yeah, I love like the 9, 10.
I fucked with
The
KD.
Kobe's were hard.
But I think
yeah.
LeBron's are better now, like as they've gotten like up.
They
Like,
made-
the more they go,
yeah.
they get.
They
better.
made it more like, I feel like they made it more for him during a couple of those years, and then they kind of did more casual wear.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like nowadays. You know, PG like Kyrie, even Harden. They've had like the newer. They're the
Yeah.
newer guys with the newer deals. I feel like a lot of their shoes just look like more of a running style.
It's more like basketball
shifted
running,
a little bit
yeah.
more of a running
Yeah.
kind
I
of
see what you're
style
saying.
to it for sure. I mean, I fucked with KD5. I think it was the KD5 All
KD had
Stars.
some nice
The Galaxy,
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
The Silver
yeah,
Galaxy
yeah.
ones. I fucked with those. Like his early on ones, like the creamsicle KD4s.
I had
Yeah.
the Easter.
See-
I had the Easter 5s back in the
See,
day.
those were
The
the,
Easter
those were like the
Classics.
best days though, because that's when like Nike basketball was like huge.
It
Oh yeah,
was.
And then
the
it
hype
kinda-
dunks were
Yeah.
huge. in
And
the
then it
early
kinda, like,
2000s.
fell
Hyper
off
dunks
after
were
that.
always a shoe. Like I feel like everybody had those
Big,
on.
yeah.
When you would
That-
go
I
into the
think
gym to play, like
that's-
half the gym would normally have some hyper dunks.
Mhm. That's what put Blake
Hyper
Griffin on
dunks are-
because
yeah.
he was the main like athlete that wore those, and he really put them on. I think there was a
sure.
few other NBA players that rocked the hyper dunks, but Blake Griffin I know was like a centerpiece for that shoe.
Jumped over the hood of that damn key.
That was before
Hell
the
yeah.
pro model days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it just I don't know. It's the sneaker culture is just overloaded the NBA. Like it just seems like almost every other guy has like a sneaker deal.
Especially
or
now
anything
that they
like
don't
that.
have like the little like the contracts of like what shoes and colors they can't wear. They come out with like some crazy customs and
Mhm.
they make it more fun now. Like
Exactly. They're real versatile every time a colorway comes out.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
like a lot different than I feel like they used to be. They could just toss some shit together back.
It's crazy how much money they'll be throwing for these shoe deals too, because LaMelo's
I
not
was
even
just about to
declared for
bring
the
that
draft,
up,
and he
yeah.
has a 10-year, $100 million
Oh,
deal
yeah.
already on the table,
And a
but it's from an
private jet.
anonymous brand.
In a
It's
private
probably
jet.
Big Baller Brand, honestly.
it's
No,
crazy
no
though. There's
way.
so much
But
money in
LeVar
that.
don't- There's no way Big Baller Brand's got that money.
Well,
you know?
who could it
He said
possibly
a private jet. In
It's
the
a private
deal.
jet.
Oh,
and
yeah, there
$100
is a
million
private jet.
That's
Yeah.
that's guap right there. That don't matter.
be? Kawhi got his from New Balance too. I think New Balance threw some stupid deal like that too with him, and then they ran the ad campaign and that said like it's his city.
I mean,
and that
I
drove
feel like
a lot
few
of
brands have
controversy.
that to offer him, who's not even. I mean, he's a prospect, but
You gotta think though, like those are like huge athletes. That's like a big walking billboard that
I swear.
millions of people
Mhm.
see
It's
and like
insane.
look up to.
What was
It's worth that
Zion's
big bucks.
initial shoe deal?
I think it was gonna be Nike, but then he had the game. I don't know if he's.
Yeah, he
has
tore
one
that.
of
Could've been
He
Nike.
tore
I
through
don't
the
It
Nikes.
was your
I
boy
remember.
PG's shoe.
I mean that's Zion. He's gonna rip through any shoe. I mean,
Yeah, that's a lot of.
I bet it happens
Yeah,
again.
that's
I
a
bet it
lot of
happens
weight
again.
going around. Because his speed to weight ratio is fucked. Because you got to think the man's like 280 pounds at 6'8",
The
moving the
force
way that he
just has to
does.
be crazy.
He's got to. I mean, he
Being
just
that
has to
quick.
cut like 15 pounds.
I mean,
think
they're
he'd be
teaching him
solid.
how to walk and run different. You didn't see that?
Oh no! Oh yeah, no, I heard about it. I didn't see
Really?
it though.
I
didn't see
mean,
him
there's
like
not just. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the head.
Well, like four.
I saw him
joints,
shooting.
like-
Just to like have different structure in the way he does things, because that could be an issue in
I feel
his
that.
injury, like that he just had on his knee. So
That's yeah. A lot of people run kind of goofy too.
yeah, he did for sure.
He used to run goofy.
I
There's
still
so many
run-
people that used to run goofy
I
in high
still
school.
run goofy. What do you mean?
That shit was
No,
awesome.
the funniest runner was Fredo. The run-
Oh. Bro, I used to love watching people run, bro. Some
That
people
shit
are
was right. Shout out to Fredo, by the way. All love to you, buddy. All love to you.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, I know you've been into the photography game too. When did you first get into photography? Because you're nice with the camera, man. I ain't gonna-
Right on, I appreciate
you
it,
take
appreciate
some
it.
good pics, especially at the concert.
I know I haven't been doing it in a while. But I'm gonna get back on that, but I'd say like 7th, 8th grade. My mom used to always have. I just started using her camera. Like when
Yeah.
I was like my first 2 pictures, I was my mom's camera, and then I eventually got mine. But she always took pictures, and I always kind of just picked that up from her.
Kind of went well, like with the shoe game too. you
Yeah,
know?
like at the time, like
Taking
those
really
like
good
on foot
pictures.
pictures are like huge because
Mhm.
like.
I remember you had some Jordan 5s that were like you could obviously tell like they were old as shit, but you were still like had them held down like that.
See,
and that
those,
was hard.
that was huge back in the day. Like I went to like that first Chicago sneaker con I went to. I went and bought like the 1989 Jordan 4 Fire Red.
Mhm.
So, bought them for $150, and I came back and sold them for $850.
That's cool. Like
The
that,
resale
that's
value
something
is
too, like,
insane.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
it's
Like,
like-
Insane.
there's so much
what
money
would
in
you
that
say
stuff.
Is like that hype around the older shoes, like the real.
There's just
like,
not
OGs.
that many.
Just the limit.
Like
how
it's just
limited they are.
a lot of people like go back to and looking at like the history of it. Like so you gotta think like those are like how big it is now. Like that's literally what started it.
Because
Like,
I know even if
way
they
back
like,
in the day.
even if they'll look like a little bit crusty or something like that, like people still want them. Like
Yeah, it just used to-
It's that kind. I don't know, like that. What am I trying to get at?
That vintage look.
Vintage, yeah, that vintage style, yeah.
It was just like back in the day, like some people, it kind of shifted like when Jordan came out with their first shoe. but a lot of people didn't look at like the reselling aspect as much as they do now. So people didn't like take care of their shoes. So there's not as many pairs. Like say they released 20,000 of these back then. Say people trashed like 10. There's only like that limited amount that are still there and not like thrown away because people used to just throw their shoes away.
You also got to think back then there were only like a few athletes that actually had sneaker deals. I remember Larry had a sneaker deal for a little bit. I mean, obviously Shaq had the pump with Reebok.
I mean,
Penny Hardaway.
Converse were always the OGs.
They were the OGs for a hot minute.
The demand for anything,
thick ass Converse.
The demand for anything Jordan is just insane. Like even like his rookie cards go for like 10, 20,000, probably even more than that. To be honest,
Reebok, you're right. Reebok did have its moment too, though. Even
because they had
pump, they had the answers.
A lot of brands had their moment before Jordan.
Didn't Patrick Ewing have a little collab with Reebok? Like, not too recent. I mean, it wasn't too long ago.
I don't know. I know he has before, but
and then Charles Barkley had his little collab he did with Nike too. I remember there was some Charles Barkley boys that came out. They were like the Suns colorway. They were like black, orange, and then like a little bit of white and purple. Yep. They were both hard.
Oh, I just thought about this. Do you remember like the Stephen Marbury's back in the day?
Stephon Marbury.
Yeah, Starbury.
There you go.
Do you remember those?
They had the -3 on them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Those were like
sold for $15.
Those were huge like at one point.
Yeah, because they were $15.
Bro, I remember Larry Bird tried to like make a little comeback with the Converse. He collabed with Converse. I remember our buddy Bo had a pair of the like these like green and black Larry Birds that he always used to rock, and I honestly thought they were dope, but they fell out of style within maybe a year or two, just because
that's how it is too.
I mean,
trends.
It's Converse.
You remember when Jordan sandals came out? Like when they started putting those slides out, those were huge.
Those were massive because they had like different colorways and combinations. Like I remember they like made it to make it look like the Jordan 5s. Those were tough.
Those
and like the bubble like that you would have on the footing would make it.
Definitely innovate that stuff to make it like make people want that.
I mean,
those were just the trends at those times.
You could probably resell.
Trends change all the time.
Yeah, they changed. That changed.
I mean, do you think now you could resell those sandals and they'd still bring in a nice little bargain for you, or do you think they?
It really depends what you resell. Like some people think you just resell anything, but like there's got to be like that like hype or that demand or that like limited quantity behind it. So I mean, you could probably. I'd probably say no to the sandals, but like other things, like you want to put your, like say you want to put like enough room so you can make profit, like whenever you go to buy it. Like,
and I feel like anything that Jordan associates himself with, the price for him is just insane. Like even like vintage T-shirts from back in the '90s where they had those like three-peats. Those
vintage
shirts
is a
will
big
still sell
thing now
for
too.
Big money.
Yeah, there's a lot of vendors at the event. They'll have like all their like clothing racks of like old vintage like Jordan and like old like Pacers, Lakers, like old basketball teams, just like old like big puffy jackets. Like they just have a bunch of different stuff of all that.
I'm surprised Reggie didn't make his mark in the sneaker game at all.
Jordan really made all those other companies like step their game up. That's why I feel like it helped it evolve. Like because like they knew they had to step up.
Once Jordans came out, like literally the whole, I think like that was the turning point of like sneakers. Like whenever the Jordan 1 came out, it was definitely everything changed before that.
And I think, didn't he get fined for a period of time for rocking the Jordans? Yeah. Couldn't you only rock a certain pair?
Like, the reason it was so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, the band 1s, like, he had, like, commercials, and they were like, you can't... Like, the NBA can't stop us from wearing these, like... And that's what, like, made it so huge back in the day, because everyone watched TV, so, like, that was, like, that entertainment for the night.
That's what always probably stuck, you know, like... That's probably part of the reason he's as big as
it is because that was like such a big like
because he was really one of the first people to collab with a shoe company, so obviously that's going to leave its mark.
Clearly, like you put it as a brand as big as Adidas now. Like
now he's got I know he does the trophy room, like his son runs at it.
His son runs. Yeah,
that's a pretty.
I've seen him do that.
They've got some nice stores.
Which one? The son that played at Illinois.
I don't know which one it is. I think it's the one from Florida, Marcus.
Is it Marcus?
Yeah. I think he runs it now. It's some nice stuff.
Hell yeah.
So did you fuck with any like the overseas shoes? Like I know D Wade. What shoe brand did D Wade partner up with? I know he has his own shoe.
Yeah, he has his own shoe.
No, not Converse. He has his like an overseas shoe company. D Wade. The Way of
now-
Wades.
now
Yeah,
it is.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
They're called The Way of
Converse, though.
Wades.
Shit, look at
He rocks Converse?
He was to start off. his
I remember
career.
those shoes always being around, but they never sold for much. They always
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sat
yeah.
there, like on tables. Like no one ever really messed with them or bought them.
How do you feel more too about like designer shoes? Like, is that ever a big thing at any
That's
of
kind
these
of a big
events?
thing right
That's
now.
like if it's a big thing
Mhm.
for more of like wear, but I feel like to like resell,
Right,
that's
For
not.
resale, it's
Yeah.
not just.
Because I mean, you
have
buy
anything like that.
Gucci shoes for $700, you wear them, like it's gonna lose value like
Yeah.
that. You're not gonna
Yeah.
like you can walk into the store and get them. That's why the limited quantity makes the prices like jump on any shoe.
For sure.
So, other than Jordan, like from those guys back in the day, do you feel like any of those guys, why do you feel like they didn't necessarily make it with their different collabs? Because obviously Penny had his collab, and obviously Shaq and Patrick Ewing, I know Scottie Pippen had a little collab too. Why do you feel like these different athletes didn't necessarily have as big of an impact in the sneaker culture?
Michael Jordan's a goat.
Yeah.
I feel like all the kids looked up to
Their
him.
play on the-
They
play on
all,
the court,
whenever he was wearing those shoes, I think everybody, like younger age, was like, you've like heard like the fly like Mike, be
That's
like
true,
Mike,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people like actually look up to him as like a player and wanted to be like him, so he would wear the shoes, and then
And I feel like
That's
Bad
carried
timing,
on.
Yeah, just bad timing of them being in the league.
Cause
Like-
now-
basketball's that sport too. You wear an actual shoe in. You know, like baseball,
Mhm.
football, you got a cleat. It's a different scenario. Like I
Mhm.
don't know. It's got. You can wear it kind of everywhere.
You,
When I-
you can style it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
right.
you
it's
can
about
always style it.
and it's like it brings people back to like that memory too. Like when I worked at Grails, like there was a lot of like older folks that like came in and they're like, "Oh, this shoe reminded me of like 5th grade doing this," and it just like brought them back to like that.
It
It's
fine,
probably
yeah.
something
Like that
came
moment.
out
It's like
around
a
that-
sentimental moment for
Yeah.
them. I
Yeah.
feel like it goes deeper than just shoes for some people, for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah, because my dad always talks about how he used to rock the Chuck Taylors, and he said he would just hoop in those every time he'd go out to
Yeah.
the hardwood or on the
That
concrete.
was
I
that
mean,
was the
the
move
shoe.
back then.
That
Yeah,
was something my dad would always say too when I was like into shoes. Like
'Cause when
every
Jor-
time I'd get a pair, he'd be like, "Those remind
Yeah.
me of like this or something."
and that's
like I
how
used to
a lot
have,
of people who walked into Grails said that, and that's just how it was. Jordan was with Converse like when he was in college, right? Something
Mhm.
like that. So he like eventually transitioned to like bigger and better things,
Exactly.
and like Converse was that brand back in the day though.
It's
when
crazy.
basketball
it's crazy
came.
that it's built into that.
So who would you say inspires you to do sneaker culture? Like,
I'd probably I've just always wanted it for me, you know. Like
I like
I feel
that.
like it's
When you
myself.
get yours, that's exactly
Yeah.
what we're trying to do.
I
here,
wouldn't
man.
really. I mean, I've had like inspirations, of course, that like have like influenced me to do what I do. Like Joey Lilly's like one of the first people to like actually get me into shoes. Like
Yeah, I
that
remember
was.
he was
Joe
out
used
in-
to be in the all
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
he was out in
crazy.
Dallas for a period of time too,
Yep.
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
out
he
there
was-
with this girl.
And he was happy getting that for sure.
But,
Yeah, I remember
just
that.
those. There's always those like people, but I mean, a lot of it is like just for myself, really. Like I've always wanted that. Like when I walked in those doors that one day at SneakerCon, I was like,
this is it.
"This
for me,
this is
yeah.
cool. Like I
Mhm.
like this." And
And
then
there
I
have been a few
eventually
people-
got to it.
There have been a lot of people from our high school that have really made their names known. Like Nate Gunther's out in L.A. shooting
Yeah,
with Trippy
doing
and
his
Wiz. Kaylee King's a model. I mean, Josh Fairs is doing his thing, and then who else is? I mean, shit. There's some other people that have gotten theirs too from our high school. I mean, it's
There's
just
people
crazy.
all over out here.
You,
I heard
you
grinding.
shot with.
And it's so hard
Mark
from
Battles.
Indy too. Like
I know,
it's
that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's just we're in such like a
people gotta try to come
yeah
together
people.
out here, man. Like,
It's just people got to come together,
it's a
show
rough,
love.
It's a rough area to get that kind of love.
It's already hard enough to get out, like when you're independent, but like if you were to work together, it'd be a lot easier to like
It just seems like
get that little
it just seems like
push.
Southside people just don't want to like support one another. I don't know why that is. It's just I
And
don't
that's
know.
like
That's how it
that's part of
is.
the reason that we wanted to start this, and we stress it every time we're interviewing someone, every time we have an episode. Like, we're trying to build a bigger support system here in the Midwest and Indies for people like this.
Right.
We want people to come together. Like,
I mean, and you guys, like I said earlier, you guys build off of each other's brands
Exactly.
pretty much.
Exactly. That's what we were
I mean-
trying to do here.
So. And you meet people too. You know what I mean?
exactly. Like, even from your first event, like, how many people are at this third event from that?
A lot. Like I've met so many people just from doing this.
Exactly.
Like I've always known people, but I've never been so deep in it. Now that I am, like
exactly.
now.
It's
You know
kind of
what I
cool
mean?
to like really
Yeah.
go day to day and
And
talk to
I
those
really
people
like
even
see
still.
mostly a lot of people that I'll interact with them at the events, talk to them. They're always hitting me up in the DM, ask me
Exactly.
questions. Hey, like I even have some people, hey, how you doing, bro? Like that's cool to me. You know what I mean? Like I never had that before. Like I never knew those people, so just for them to come ask like how I'm doing or vice versa, like I think it's
Maybe it
pretty
just
dope.
makes you feel good about
just
what you're doing.
just from like doing something like
Hell yeah.
if I didn't end up doing my event, I would have never met any of those people.
And that just makes you love what you're doing
Hell
more
yeah.
because
You meet hella people.
everybody's just building a relationship together
Right.
at that point.
And they're dope ass people too. Like there's a lot of cool people out there. Like
Just get to know one another.
Yeah,
man. We might-
right.
We might like one another.
For
You never
sure.
know.
Exactly.
this is dope,
There's a lot of ways to make money out here now too. Like that's the thing people
So
don't
much.
understand now. Like
especially with shoes and
There's a whole
clothes
different
and
outlet.
vintage and all that. Like
Yeah, and all these different reselling apps that you can use, like Depop, you can really make some serious
there's
money
people
off
that
of
have
this.
had Depop accounts for like years on years now and profit off of it now.
yeah, like a lot of people do like pre-owned stuff on like Goat, and then like a lot of like brand new stuff they'll do StockX.
Mm-hmm.
If you just buy like a lot of people buy collections too, so like you buy more if you buy more shoes you get like a better price on your like shoe, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
and it's people will really just if they get that buy a lot of bulk and they'll get it like the resale or the retail day
Mm-hmm.
that it released, then they'll be able to sell it on StockX if
That's nice.
the price is like pretty high. It's all brand new stuff though, so
That's solid though. But going into the event again, like when you go about getting performers or other musicians, like do you listen to rap yourself, like more
yeah,
so like
anybody that I get, like I listen to them and I like make sure like I at least like them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who are some of your favorite artists, would you say?
Like growing up or just
Just in general.
Sure,
Yeah,
just
growing
like,
up,
like,
maybe
Lil-
now.
Lil Wayne, Drake. I mean, let me think. I like Mark Battles a lot. I was
Mark
listen-
Battles, I was saying
listening
it,
to
though,
him
top 5 lyricists,
through
no
my-
question.
I've
So,
started
yeah, I remember
listening
that
to him
episode.
a lot more lately.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a very good lyricist.
Future.
Amazing
I
with
mean,
the-
there's
with the words.
a lot. You guys like DDG?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Sweet
DDG's
DDG.
Bro, this dude was going to open for him.
I legit was gonna open
Like,
for
legitimately.
DDG. I was on the
he
ticket.
didn't even have a song produced. We had tickets sold. with
Was
the-
this,
with
like,
Young
not too
Stormy
long
on
It
ago?
was it was my
You
senior
probably
year.
like might have heard it.
Yo, you pro- I
might have
guarantee
heard
you
about
Was
it.
it his like Take Me Serious tour?
Yep, it was that one when he came here.
Bro, why?
Dude, this is the thing. I know everyone was just going there just to laugh their ass off. I
It was
would have
at
made a
Emerson.
fool of
It was at
myself. Look,
Emerson Theater,
no.
bro. You just had to hit him up to open. Like that's all you had to do.
the one thing we were talking about is maybe I could have just done like a damn stand-up skit.
Right.
Fuck it, whatever. Try to make the crowd laugh, but I guarantee they would have been throwing tomatoes at me by that time. I would have been done for.
We've
But-
talked about that too, like having a festival or having different types of festivals, and I've heard bigger people in interviews I've heard of talk about something like this. Like I forget who it was I was listening to. They were like, I wanna combine like Rolling Loud with TED Talk, like
Yeah,
or
that'd
even
be-
like comedy. Like,
That's what I did with hip hop and sneakers. Like they go hand in hand. Like that's what sets me apart from like other sneaker events. Like other sneaker events are just sneakers. They're
They don't
just
normally have a performance.
they don't have
like that.
performances.
Yeah, I
and
like
the
that.
fact that I'm like I'm kind of like using my audience for those artists, so they kind of get that exposure
And
too.
you're only 3 in, bro. Like you
Yeah.
can,
You
never
could
know.
really
Something
go
could
on
hit out of
stage.
nowhere, bro.
That's what I'm
and
saying,
you can
bro.
just meet
That's-
some people.
And
like,
shit,
And-
these different media outlets, if they see that you've shown consistency, they might try to like hop on board and be like, "Hey, hop on our wing, we got you." Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
it's all who you meet, bro. Like social media is insane. You can literally like
You
send
can do anything.
You can send a DM to like anybody, and like if they have they get it on their phone. So
if they look at it.
if they have the time to like
Regular-
look at it and whatnot, like that's how my interview went with the news. Like I just shot an email and
Boom, we got a
That's
story
crazy.
for
there
you.
you go. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. And I found like those people on Instagram.
So were you nervous as hell before going on that?
Hell
camera?
yeah. It was
That's just gotta be.
was
That's gotta be crazy.
definitely intimidating, but it was an
I can
experience.
imagine.
I
It's
remember I
definitely
was
cool.
in the news when I was like 4 because my dad used to work
Really?
at Sagamore and they had this little like health clinic there, and I remember the camera was right on me and that bitch asked me to blow a whistle because I had a whistle on me and I just blew it for the camera, walked off. That's my
You
there
dropped
go.
that shit. Hell yeah.
Bow to that.
How long were you on there for though? Like
It was
when you
like
did it?
it's like a 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
They just
it
like
was
asked
it
you
was-
kind of about the event.
Yeah, it was just like a little story. It gave me like the floor to like kind of just say what I had to say. Like
It's always tough too, like going on something like that. I feel like you always come off, and in such a short amount of time like that, you're like, I wish that there's something else I would have said.
Oh yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, for sure. I was like, dang, I didn't even get to say this. Dang, I didn't even get to say that. I was like, but I mean, it is what it is.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I got what at least the whole moral of the story. At least I wanted to add a couple things, but I didn't end up.
Exactly. Hey, you never know. You can shoot him another email, go on there again, like
Yeah,
straight up.
Then you blow them up again. Hey,
You never
do you
know.
mind if we do a little retake of that? Have they already shown the
That
story
was
on
for
your
a,
Yeah, they've already
was
showed
that
it.
for a
Oh,
past one,
shit.
or was that like?
That was my
pretty
first
recent?
one. That was my first.
Okay, yeah.
So
So
I didn't
it's-
even have an event done before I got that interview. I just like
crazy.
yeah, it was wild to
And
be
they're
honest.
just willing to have you.
Yeah,
on
she
there,
just
too.
thought
Like,
it was
that showed a
cool.
lot of
She thought it was
promise.
cool what I was doing, and she gave me a shot. So I was like, hell yeah, that's cool.
So do you mind telling our viewers when exactly sneaker culture is and what exactly it's going to be about?
It'll be Sunday, February 23rd. You say what it's going to be about?
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be from 12 to 5 at Northside Events. It's up north, like 2100 East 71st Street. And it'll be pretty much like where the vendors will come, and they'll just set up shop at like 11. That's when vendors come in the door. And then from 12 to 5, that gives like that. All people who, like general public, will come in and shop and
What it's about.
buy some shoes, sell some shoes, buy some clothes, sell some clothes.
Oh yeah, man. Well, we're working forward to it, man. We're really
yeah,
excited
appreciate
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
Shout out
Is
to you
there
as well.
is it free for everybody to just come?
It's
to it?
$10 admission.
$10 admission. Okay,
Mm.
nice.
All right, man. Well,
Come
sounds
see
good,
ASAP
man.
from the nap there.
Oh yeah. Well, do you
Yeah.
have any closing inspiration for our viewers here?
Just do you. Don't even worry about anybody else.
Fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Do you.
Do
You heard
you.
it here.
Do you
Keep your head
heard it
down.
here. Thanks for coming on, Devin.
Appreciate
Really
you,
do
bro.
appreciate it, my
Yeah,
man.
Appreciate it.
And you have been watching ASAP from the Nap. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. We
Yeah.
out. Shit.